Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me today is General Shankar, General Dushyant, and Major General Rajiv Narayanan couldn't make it today, but we have a compelling slide deck to present to you about what is happening in China. Let's welcome General Shankar. General Shankar, Namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. I find only one good general here. The other better generals are away and traveling and doing what they want. But it's okay. We'll do the needful. You know, China is familiar territory for both of us, and we'll
Yes,
do
yes, yes.
justice. Yeah, and I remember you telling me that Beijing is encircled and all that. I think you should do the opening batting, and I'll do the runner-up. On the other side. Let's go. this, this is not even a T10 match. This is a 1-1 match. Let's start.
Thank you, sir. So I have been scouring the social media, YouTube, what have you, to try and get a sense of what's happening in China. What is very clear to me is that the PLA is not really on the same page as Xi Jinping. And what they've been showing videos of all over China, sir, not just Beijing. Everywhere there's a lot of troop movements. And they were showing some videos in China itself where there appears to be blasts taking place. And it looked like the rat-tat-tat-tat, and then somebody else did that. And you understand, it's like a gang fight kind of thing. So who is fighting the PLA? And you can see the PLA formations on the streets. These are also videos available. Why would the PLA have formations on the street in Beijing? That raises a question. So it seems, again, many people are thinking that, so I'm going to present two scenarios, General Shankar, because both are 180 degrees opposite to each other. First scenario is Xi Jinping is considerably weakened and PLA is basically trying to force him to come to term so that there'll be some sort of a regime change with some kind of devolution of powers and for him to ride into the sunset. Option one. Option two, if you look at what is happening from the control place, that is Xi Jinping's office and thereabout, you are hearing that two more generals, again sons of princelings, are also indicted for sharing nuclear secrets with the United States. See, sometimes what happens is it's like a catch-all word. Anything they want to accuse, oh, this guy sold his soul to United States. This guy sold his soul to United States, that sort of stuff. Now, the problem there is that if that is true, is it because they already accused Zhang Yuzhia of selling nuclear secrets and now they are taking two more people out? And viewers, General Shankar has a before and after organization chart, in fact, charts, I should say. It's going to blow your mind. And this is probably one of the most comprehensive looks at how much the top leadership in the armed forces of all the different units, Army, Air Force, and Rocket Force, and what have you, how much it has been culled out. And if so many people are gone, how is somebody going to wage a war against Taiwan? Because there's a letter that was leaked by Zhang Yuzhia, which said that I don't want to go to war, and this guy is insisting that we go to war. And so, okay, these are all different stories that are coming about. If she is right, then the nuclear secrets got shared with the United States. That's one possibility. Or if Zhang Yuzhia is fighting back through PLA, then that means that Xi Jinping is effectively cornered. But Trump seems to have talked to him. A couple of other foreign leaders have gone and met him. So one can make the argument that, okay, there is some limited scope, or maybe these guys are being mature about it. They're saying it's a fight amongst us. As far as the outside countries are concerned, we are still China. So that's one way of looking at it also. So I'm going to give you all these scenarios. Maybe you can help us make some sense of what is going on, sir.
Thanks a lot, Shreyarji. I think you made a lot of sense when you say we don't know what's happening in China. There are so many options which are there coming up. And the heading is also right. Is it an end game? Is it a regime change? Is Beijing encircled? Is Xi on his last legs? All these questions are coming up. And what I'd like to put across is Like what you said, Trump has spoken to Xi Jinping yesterday. Xi Jinping, day before yesterday, spoke to Putin. That's an interesting talk. And I must tell everyone, and I must tell everyone, when I say everyone, even those who are on P Gurus, uh, day after tomorrow, I'm going to have a talk with a Russian, John Helmer, about what is the story from the Russian angle. It's going to be very interesting because I couldn't decipher what the story is. Mm. So there is something going on, right? At that level, at the geopolitical level, at the international level. But there is something very serious happening in China. So we'll deconstruct it. Rather than thinking, is he encircled, is he, there's an end game, yeah, all that, we'll deconstruct it. We'll start from the beginning. When we start from the beginning, we will understand where we stand. Where does Xi Jinping stand? Where does PLA stand? And what are we looking at hereafter? That analysis will come out of some facts and figures. Because I believe in looking at facts and figures, and not, I would not say, I like to look at things which have actually happened on ground, verifiable, rather than go into YouTube channels or social media and such posts where you can't verify. So we'll go there. So what I'll do is I'll first put across to you what is the current state of the PLA, the PLA leadership. From that flows everything. And then we'll analyze what is the relationship between the PLA and Xi Jinping. Two parts. Okay. Can we have the slides? Unless we understand this, this is the uh, slide of which shows, all those
We can
firing
hear you,
by,
sir. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this was firing by PLA done in August 22. This was when Nancy Pelosi came to Taiwan. She went off. After this, the PLA had held their first drills around Taiwan, right? And that was the time when they fired 11 missiles. When those 11 missiles were fired, 3 or 4 missiles went into the wrong places. And one went into the Japanese EEZ. This is Yonaguni. It went there. Okay. The inaccuracy of these missiles, till then everyone thought PLA was a great force and this and that. And people were saying they'll run over India. We are talking of 22. Our Ladakh thing had not settled. I'm going back in time. We had finished Snow Leopard, but people were still not convinced about Indian Army. They said PLA can go and come back, all those things. But this is August 22. So what happened was Xi Jinping at that point of time suddenly realized that, look, I have a force which might not be good enough. And there are problems in this force. Okay. And hence, what did he do? That year, October 22, was the 20 Party Congress. In the 20 Party Congress, he brought Zhang Yujia out of retirement and reappointed him in the CMC in October 22 to head vice chairman, to be next to Xi Jinping. Please remember this. This is important. Zhang Yujia was brought in by Xi Jinping. By then, he was 72 years old. He said, I'm not interested. Xi Jinping said, please come. And both were princelings, both were friends. He was brought back. Okay. So remember this landmark, because I'm going to go back to this landmark at some point of time during our talk. But today, when you look at it, in 23, after that CMC meeting, these were the commanders serving under Xi Jinping. Okay. In 23, beginning of 23. Today, there's only one left out of that. 6 are gone. Okay? Out of 6, 5 are gone. Now, at that point of time, in 23, these were the generals who were under Xi Jinping, under the CMC, and who were the heads of various departments, theater command, JAO, all that. All of them, barring these 5, have been expelled, under investigation, disappeared, replaced. Each guy I put a thing. This is the depth. People don't understand what is happening. Now, the guys at the bottom were the chaps who were newly appointed after those, a lot were thrown out. But many of them have also vanished. Dekho, piche dekho, ye pura line, bottom line. That line also, a lot of chaps have vanished. Okay. Today, they're only this money. So after the first wave of appointment, then the first wave of removal, the first wave of filling up, the second wave of filling up those first removals. And now, after all that, from 23 to 25, you have only 6 guys standing. The Central Military Commission, except Jiang Zemin, there's vacant. It is like having your army headquarters vacant. Okay? Let me take a pot shot at, everyone in general. In our parliament for the past 3 days, we've been seeing a ruckus of an ex-chief of army staff writing some stupid lines in his book. And that is being discussed as if the world is coming down. Here you've seen the entire lot of chiefs and army chiefs and Air Force chiefs and everyone sacked. And there's not a single whimper. There's no analysis, nothing. That's the thing. We need to focus on this rather than, running around the bush of what Manoj Mukund Narwane has written about, whether he got orders from, Rajnath Singh or not. How vain we are. And now, when you look at the theatre commands, out of all the theatre commands, only one theatre, Eastern Theatre, has a commander and a commissar, and the Central Theatre has a commander. And these chaps are all months into their service. The rest are all blank. Look at the Army, Navy, Air Force. That is including new rocket force. You see their vacancies today. And this is the Ministry of Defense. There's no one. All his generals are sacked. If you go over the period of time, these are the guys he sacked. He sacked 2 ministers of defense, 5 CMC members, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, CMC deputy directors of equipment development, former minister of General Logistics Department. PLA RF is wholesale sacking. Commanders, political commissars, deputy commissioners, head of armaments, everything. Former commander of PLA Air Force. It is not only those in chair, all retired guys also sacked. If I put that list, I'm not shown in those other things, that list. If I put, people will have a heart attack. A PLA deputy commander, Southern Theatre commander, plan commanders, SSF commander, Special Security Force commander. Thank you. All gone. Okay. So I want your views on all this so far, what I've shown you, Shreya ji. Your views on all this, you see what is the state of the PLA today. Your views on this, because after this, I'm going to analyze this story. I've just put out a story.
Thank you, sir.
And I must also tell you, so all those people who feel, oh, this is all, imagination. No. All those pictures I've shown are authenticated and published by the New York Times. Reference New York Times. Many people might have many opinions about New York Times, but I feel this is the most referenced, media in the world. They're very sure of what they write and they stick to it. Okay. And they're not for Trump. We know that. Okay. What they stand for is a different thing. But what they write, they're absolutely clear on what they write. So this is absolutely clear. They've done their homework on it. Of course, I picked it up because it's come in such an appealing form. So your view on this, sir?
Thank you, General Shankar. And viewers, you might know China Ka Endgame was a popular series that Sumit Kir and I have been covering for more than 2 years now. And many of you used to poke fun at us and saying, oh, what is this? When is the end going to happen? You're always saying something is going wrong. But if you look at the episodes, systematically things started getting from bad to worse. Some grand loans, real estate, that was the big one first. And then we had the Evergrande, and then we had the nationalization of Alibaba the day before they went public. And those are all indications that all is not well. And then seeing Hu Jintao, who was his predecessor, being frog marched out of that conference, I mean, that's the ultimate insult. Hu Jintao might be on his last legs, but his brain is still functioning. And he's supposed to be headmaster. Headmaster of who? Much of the bureaucracy and administrative people, they've all handpicked and trained by him, because it looks like there was a generation that got trained under him. So Hu Jintao was not a happy man. Then you had Jiang Zemin faction. So you had then only Deng Xiaoping faction was not there. And viewers, I have done a monologue on the 12 red families. These are the most powerful in terms of how they've used the PLA, that is, CCP, to enrich themselves. Like son of or the scion of Deng Xiaoping family, of Jiang Mingjiang, Hu Jintao, and of course all the other people, and each one has like a huge network. So what I had seen in that was there were 12 people we looked at. A lot of information was gathered. All these 12 princelings were against Xi Jinping, General Shankar. All of them. And there are, I explained what is the beef that this person has, what is the beef that person has, and so on. Then today, there is a news item that says that Xi Jinping's sister made $60 billion out of Venezuela oil.
Did you read that one?
Yeah. So this guy's claim to fame was that he was going to rid the entire CCP of corruption, that is Xi Jinping, and he's caught doing the same thing. So people, you can say whatever, but somewhere, that's why I said regime change, meaning like you step down, we will give you some guarantee, maybe you'll be able to take out 10% of what you have. He has a brother, I think who's in Australia, if I remember correctly, Xi Jinping. And and we'll give you an exit wherever, of place to a place of your choice, but that's about it. You live your final years there. So this is what seems to be happening from the princelings. At the same time, who's doing the negotiations on behalf of Xi Jinping? That person will become very important. He could have a selective memory, filter things out here, filter things out there. Finally, he becomes the candidate, like Dick Cheney did, vice president candidate for George Bush. So I think there are some characters who you should take a look at. Wang Yang, Hu Jintao faction, who he's going to prop up. Those people have a lot of say. And Hu Jintao, some say he's dead, but I don't think so. Sir, even Qin Gang, the guy who was a foreign minister who got, ejected, we found him in a music festival in Beijing about 6 months ago or 4 months ago. I even put up that picture. So he's not dead, because he had an affair with a TV anchor from a Hong Kong station, very popular station. And she has boy, I think in, I don't remember which country, it doesn't matter. It says future emperor or something like that. and that basically cooked their goose. So my point in saying all this is lots of palace intrigues. Nobody seems to want Xi Jinping around anymore, yet he is hanging on. So what exactly? Who wants him? If we answer that question, I think a lot of things will get solved, sir. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So I've given you the actual statistics. These are facts. These are, I see some people saying, "Oh, you kill everyone every day." I don't kill. They are the guys who are saying whether they are replaced or not. This is I operate on facts. I operate on things. Okay. So now I'm going to show you something else. Can I have the slide, please? I'm going to explain how these issues have happened over a period of time. And again, my sources are all Chinese sources. My sources are referenced Chinese sources. For each of them, I have a reference from a mainstream Chinese media. So don't give me this bullshit that I'm fabricating, stuff. That's not my style. Yeah. June 23. Why I'm going back? I've started from, October 22, June 23. Kin Gang, what Shreyarji was talking of, he was sacked. But also, Xi Jinping promulgated new rules for the PLA. This was, remember, you have to separate the 20th Party Congress and what happened in Taiwan in August 22 during Nancy Pelosi's visit. By then, the missiles misfiring had, created chaos in China. So he issued new rules for the PLA. And it told every general how he has to behave. And such rules were never promulgated earlier. How he must behave during service, after service, we're going for a party, going about where he can talk and all that. Right? Okay. Now, next month, July, 2 PLA-RF generals were sacked. And simultaneously, he called all the PLA top brass to Beijing and giving them a dressing down. These are facts. Huh? August 23, Li Shangfu, the defense minister, was sacked. December 23, not only 2 PLA, it was followed by 9 PLA generals. Simultaneously, executives who headed state-operated enterprises, engineers and scientists, all were sacked. A whole lot of them were sacked. This is a great thing which has been happening from 23 especially. In February 24, okay, SSF, commander and former deputy commander were sacked. Okay, Special Security Force. What are the strategic security force? And then that strategic security force came down and was converted into, in May 24, to information security force. The strategic security force had the aerospace force and the one more I'm forgetting, right? Why that was downgraded is very interesting. The strategic security force had the info warfare and the aero and the communication. With all these three, Xi Jinping felt that this guy is more powerful than anyone else because he's got all the data of everyone and the wherewithal to do so. So he probably came to know something is happening. He sacked him. He's that guy, Qiang Sheng, and which is here, this guy. February he does that, and SSF, he breaks the SSF and converts it into a information security force, aerospace security force, and all that. April 24, he sacks the Southern Theatre commander. Okay. March 24, there's a DF-17 incident. I'll talk about that a little later. Okay. And the PLA deputy commander goes. All this is happening simultaneously. June 24, the previous foreign minister, Wei Fenghe, is out. Then he holds a political work conference. This is very important, very critical. And I'll speak of it because all these things are facts which people have missed. Then there's an incident, Tianglong. A Tianglong rocket went up and came down straight into the spaceport. It just burst. Then the nuclear sub which sank. I'll show you that also. Okay. July 24, he started an official rectification process of the PLA. Then the PLA-RF chief of staff, he was sacked. Yeah, lamba chauda hai ye. Then this whole lot. From November 24, Mia Hua, CMC member sacked. Nuclear sub sank. ICBM test. All this. He banned universities. He Dong, the other vice chairman, he was sacked. Now it is very clear that that fellow has committed suicide and he died. And of course, now Zhang Yuxia and Li Zhenli. So I've shown you the guys who sacked. Now these are the incidents. Let's analyze this further. This, I said, in a PLA special conference in June 2024. This conference was held at a place called Yan'an. Why Yan'an? Yan'an was an old Mao's revolutionary base. Whenever Mao wanted to discipline his commanders and put them in line, he used to call them there and give them a talk and all that. And later the PRC developed it into a museum. When Xi Jinping took over as the military chairman or chairman of the military commission, and also the PRC, he took over in 2013. He took them all his military commanders there, gave them a prep talk, and sacked half of them then. 2012. And he showed that sacking as an example for others to fall in line. Because by then the PLA was absolutely decrepit. Go Boxing and Kai Hua. This also went with the sacking of Bojilai, who was thrown in jail. So there was actually a major political purge and military purge carried out in 2013. Okay. So this story, he went back, he brought everyone back here and gave them this. And said, look, you have to mend your ways. I mean, I'll not go into it. Yeah. In that, he took this photograph. At that time, Dong Jun, who was the defense minister, he was not part of all the CMC guys were sitting in the front in this. Mia Hua, Dong, Zhang Yuxia, and all these two other fellows, including Li Zhenli and every one of these fellows. This was the vacant chair for Li Shangfu. And Dong Jun by then had not been promoted. Incidentally, Dong Jun, who's their defense minister, has still not been promoted into the CMC. Now, all these fellows who are sitting next to them, and the first two rows are all sacked. Okay, everyone. Now, here comes the clincher. If you see, this is the military setup, this is the political setup. Everyone in the political setup is intact. Xi Jinping has complete political loyalty within the CCP. And he is not able to control the PLA. He's never controlled the PLA, right from 2012 onwards. Okay, and this is important because in China, the role of the PLA and the position it occupies is very critical. Right. Now, if things were not bad, in the Victory Day parade at the end of the SCO summit, it was not commanded by generals, it was commanded by colonels. And this was a major deviation. All their parades earlier were all commanded by generals. And that's why their own media came out and said, why were China's generals missing in action during the Victory Day parade? Now, let me switch to certain things which I showed you earlier. Sinking of subs, equipment related issue. Okay, this is of November 23. One submarine went down and 55 Chinese soldiers went, gone. They've never recovered it. March 24, 26 March 24, a news came out in Xinhua that a DF-17, which was fired from the eastern coast of Beijing, landed, or eastern coast of China, landed 50 kilometers away from Beijing. It landed in an apartment and nearly 50 people or 60 people died in that. These chaps buried that incident and they scrubbed the Twitter. Today, you'll not find this in the Twitter. It's just that, I took a snapshot of this and I've kept it. And I keep showing it when this such analysis is to be made. Okay. This is based on some Magna Carta fellow. You will not find this handle also now. 24, following that, this happened when? March 24. May, June 24. Sometime there, Wall Street Journal came out and said, there's a nuclear submarine which was being built in Wuhan in the docks. It just sank there. It just sank. Okay? And they showed photographs. And with satellite images. With the barges hanging around here. These are facts. I'm not talking analysis. I'm talking facts so far. Another very strange thing. 1st August 24 or 1st of August is their PLA birthday. So 97th, happy 97th birthday to Chinese People's Liberation Army. It came out in PLA Daily, all this nice thing. But what interesting is Xi Jinping was missing from celebrations. And Xi Jinping is a guy who goes and meets people. This is a photograph of him meeting veterans. He goes and meets veterans, everything. But in the PLA anniversary, he was missing. Racing Day. Inconceivable. And actually, himself and Rajiv Narayanan have been tracking this. We have common slides. Okay, we're compiling it. And then, you remember that PLA, RF General SAG, DAO, all that? He was not convinced that whether the missiles will fly or not. So he ensured, he carried out a test. A PLA ICBM test was carried out in September 24. This has happened. This has been analyzed. Now you have to understand the relationship between PLA and CCP is umbilical. Look, the PRC is based on the CCP constitution. There's no constitution for China. China is not a republic. It's a party state. Remember, it's not a monarchy. It's not an autocracy. It's an autocracy, but a different this thing. Right? It's not a constitutional dictatorship like Pakistan. There's no constitution. The constitution is the CCP. And as per the CCP constitution, PLA is its protector. It's a very fragile system. A monarchy has a succession. Isme koi nahi hai succession. The PLA is the gun to control the party. And it is also supposed to protect the party from the people. Please remember this. For whatever is happening now, I've given you the detail from the past 2 years to the time Xi Jinping's number 2, who was selected and brought in as his number 2, he's been sacked. Okay? The only time this has happened is in 1971, when Lin Biao, who was supposed to be Mao's successor, he also was supposed to have done he attempted a coup against Mao. It failed. And he ran away. He and his plane crashed in Mongolia. How it crashed, all that we don't know. Gone. And after that, China was in chaos. It was in further chaos. And Lin Biao is important because Lin Biao stood by Mao during the Cultural Revolution. He was a guy who was the architect of the Cultural Revolution on ground. Now, besides this, there have been two major purges. One is, of course, the Cultural Revolution itself and the Tiananmen. Even the Tiananmen incident is a major purge by Deng Xiaoping. He purged his own prime minister, Zhao Ziyang. Now, there's no designated successor to Xi Jinping. And there's a power struggle. I mean, let's not underrate this power struggle. And power struggles in China have gone for years, maybe 5 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 3 years. And all this is happening when US military is on a rampage and PLA seems transfixed and incapable. These are facts. Okay, now can we take the slide off? We can discuss. There's a few points more I want to put across. Now, where do we go from here? Yeah, please. You're muted.
Yeah, before we proceed, I just want to explain some abbreviations. PLA-RF is Rocket Force. PLA is Rocket Force. PLAN plan is Navy, and so on
Navy.
and so forth. PLA is the Liberation Army. Then it's kind of easy to guess what the other letters are. And there's also one other thing that happened just before Qin Gang was ousted, which was that a couple of American think tanks had outed a lot of rocket force plans. And that's where the first big thing happened, like the rocket force has to be purged. And they purged a lot of people. And then I think Li Shangfu, whichever order, but that was the big one. And there's also another interesting thing that happened, General Shankar. It's kind of related to this. Hainan Island. This Hainan Island has some natural caves, and it is believed that many of the submarines are parked there or new ones are parked there. And there was a US submarine sitting and watching all the signatures of submarines coming and going. You heard that part?
No, fine. They could do it. I mean,
no. This is the interesting part. Is this? So what happened was the US submarine is above, and Chinese submarine came from below and hit it, and they wanted to completely stop it from functioning. And these guys, with a lot of damages, they managed to escape. There was some problem within the US Navy also.
These things.
Hear me out. What happened was this submarine that was used to damage the US submarine, that had to go back to mainland China for repairs. And that one also malfunctioned, and it came up, it surfaced. I mean, submarine malfunction surfaces. So they've had problems, this is what I'm trying to say, with their submarines.
No, I agree with you. See, that thing is that historically, you see that, this risk is very deep. And the logic of this whole thing, now that I've shown you the facts, the logic is, if you see Xi's history, he's never dealt with the PLA. And the first time he dealt with the PLA was when he became the CMC chairman. The history of taking over between Xi Jinping and Hu Jintao, Jiang Zemin, Deng Xiaoping, Mao, was very simple. That Deng Xiaoping didn't have any appointment. The only appointment he had was of CMC chairman. He was not a president. He was not general secretary of the party. He controlled China as the president of the chairman of the CMC, the military. That's how he was called the paramount leader. Even when he nominated his successor, Jiang Zemin, he didn't hand over the Central Military Commission to him. He controlled China through that, including the Tiananmen Square incident, as the chairman CMC. Similarly, when Jiang Zemin was to hand over to Hu Jintao, he controlled China, Jiang Zemin, through CMC. He didn't hand over this thing. Same thing, but when it came to Hu Jintao, because by then the PLA was in one angle, they were making all money, all that, and they were out of control. And the PLA, no, the Chinese economy was out of control. The Chinese party, Communist Party was out of control. That was when the party elders told Xi Jinping, go at it with an axe. The mandate given to him was, stop this rot, otherwise we'll be out of power. And he started. He did something. And after the first 2 years, the amount of money he gave to PLA, the amount of reorganization and importance he gave to PLA, amount of time he invested into PLA was tremendous. Yet, despite that, when it came to August 22, Nancy Pelosi's visit and the misfiring of the Chinese missiles, the PLA showed itself belly up. And by then, China could not make headway in Ladakh. See, the premise of trying to force a solution on India, that India was weak, China was all conquering, that had failed by then. Please understand the geostrategic construct of that time. So Xi Jinping is full of doubts when he takes over for the third time and after the 20-party Congress, right? And that is why he brought Zhang Yuxia back. And then I've shown you the entire sequence of events. And now here's a man who never dealt with the PLA, who wanted to control the PLA. The PLA never performed. PLA let him down. That's what his feeling is. And then he brings his, bosom friend, Princeling. He feels let down. And in the process, from 23 to today, he does 2 changeovers of the entire military command. And in all this time, equipment keeps failing. Taiwan wagara chodo. How will anyone go to war if so many equipment failures are there? And now it has come to a thing, of course, that frog marching, which you mentioned, of Hu Jintao during the 20-party Congress. And then the economy went for a toss. The demography problem came up. See, other problems came up. So Zhang Yuxia became a kingmaker. So things have spanned in a manner where today we are in a position. Xi Jinping is in power. I have no doubt about it. He's still in power. He controls the polity. He's still the head of the state. He's still the chairman of the general secretary. He's still the general secretary of the Communist Party. He's still the chairman of the Central Military Commission. The political side is okay. His economy is short completely. It's in a very bad shape. People, can talk itna GDP, PDP, and all that nonsense. It's a one-trick pony or one pony trick, whatever you call it. Because if exports gone, just think what's happening. Day before yesterday, the critical minerals meet went through in USA. Why is it? They want to unhinge China's grip on the critical minerals and rare earths. If that happens, Chinese value for trade is gone. No more coercion. Look at what's happening. China is out of the game in Venezuela. They're out of the game in Iran. We've discussed this. So in all this, externally things are not going well. Internally, demography is going, economy, everything is going. Joblessness is increasing, consumption is poor, no signs of revival, and the PLA is rebelling. What does he do? He sacks all these chaps up. Now he's there. Look at it the way I look at it. Will Xi Jinping survive? He might not. Is it good for us? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not joking. To me, the best case is Xi Jinping should continue. Why? Why should he continue? Because if he continues, he'll wreck the PLA and he'll wreck the Chinese economy, which he has done. I'm on record in my own channel and probably in your channel and many other channels that, long back I said, India has 2 friends. One is Imran Khan and the other is and other is Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
One friend of ours is unfortunately in jail. I hope this chap doesn't go into jail or is shunted out or whatever it is. Because if he is there, he'll wreck China. He'll ensure that we go up. Look at the other way. What if he's taken off? And then there'll be a tussle. That tussle will continue for the next 5 years, or 3 years, or 2 years, till a chap comes up. Because Xi Jinping has finished off all political success. There's no strong guy. PLA is completely wiped out. So if that happens, China will have to internalize. Look at it both ways. I couldn't care a damn whether he survives or not. But I look at it anyway, I think it's good for India. I mean, I would have loved to hear Dushyant's and Rajiv's views on this. But this is the way I look at it. Right? Will he take Taiwan? No way. He's got no capability to do it because no leadership. That's why I came back with that example. एक नरवाने ने 2 सेंटेंस लिखा, हमारा पूरा राज्यसभा और लोकसभा में खड़े हो गए और प्राइम मिनिस्टर तक खड़े होके बात कर लिया. Small thing. All of us are talking. All news channels are talking. All news anchors are talking of it. YouTube channels are full of all this. Just 2 sentences he spoke. Look at this. I look at the depth and the breadth of the sackings which have gone on in PLA. Right? Analyze this. I don't expect all of you to follow what I'm saying. You might disagree with me. There are people. I'm sure there are a lot of people trolling what I'm saying already. But that's okay. The more they troll me, the better it is that my thing is more authentic. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Because this is an emotive subject for Chinese. But this is my views. Whichever way you look at it, it's good for India. Your views, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. No, I completely agree and understand where you're coming from, General Shankar. And a lot of stuff has been laid bare. The PLA, whatever be the equipment they are flaunting, see how it has failed, whether it was Operation Sindhu or in Iran, or even some of the missiles that Iran has been raining on using Hamas, Hezbollah, and so on and so forth, Houthis. Everywhere there has been a significant amount of failures, and especially the anti-air defense systems, or I should say air defense systems. So the China is getting, I don't know, it's not a red nose, but it's not a bloody nose, but it's getting much more than that. It's getting body blows. Anything that they say, right? Everything is, not really working according to plan. I mean, BrahMos is a supersonic missile. It's not like it's hypersonic, and they couldn't find any way to stop that. So what I'm seeing here is it has been hyped way beyond PLA, and when it really comes to a confrontation, look at what happened in what is that place, Tawang, right? They tried to come in, and they again got encircled. They put up the white flag, and they were all returned back. See, if one person loses his way and comes in, it's understandable. You can't have 50 people come in and then say we lost our way, General Shankar. That's how I see it.
Please. No, that was an attack. That incident in Yangtze, in Tawang sector, in December 22. See, this is all the same time frame.
Yes.
This happened just after he becomes the chairman for the third time, right? 20-party Congress. He is the core of the party. 2 establishes all these things he spoke, and then he sends his lot. Because by then we had Kailash range operations took place by then, long back, 2 years before that. But the tensions were high. Go back into the time, and they attempt. And if you go into the social media and get clips of that thing, you will see there were more than 300 people Chinese came rushing at our post, and we bet them black and blue and send them back. That's also reverse. All these reverses, military reverses, the missiles misfiring, they're not able to get across India. All these things put together forced Xi Jinping to get Zhang Yuxia back. He lost confidence. See, there's a story. This story has to be. This is not about Rangyugya, ye, wo, this Bang Yang, Pang Yang. We don't know the stories. But what I'm telling you is an authenticated storyline of interplay between PLA and Xi Jinping. Interplay between Xi Jinping and his generals. I mean, I've shown you faces, authenticated. Okay. So why has all this happened? The more interesting part is, why has Xi Jinping sacked so many generals? Have you attempted to answer that question? It's not a whim and fancy. I have dealt with ministers. I have dealt with 4-5 defense ministers in my service. I have personally met 3 to 4 prime ministers, shaken hands with them. The last one being the present prime minister. Okay. No prime minister spoke rudely to me. No defense minister spoke rudely to me. They heard me. And when I gave a point, they heard. And many of them acted on it. And if I gave a point contra to what they said, they accepted it. Because I gave things with logic, my logic. At times, they didn't accept my logic. Fine. In the best traditions of the Indian Army, I said, fine. If my boss, I mean, there's no one higher than the Raksha Mantri for me as a boss, as a uniformed person. So I said, yes, sir, it'll be done. I have given my point of view. Over and above that, if you have overruled me, end of story, I do it. Okay. If I'm not convinced about it, I still go back to him and say, I've done this, sir. Could you kindly consider again? That's the way I've done it. And I've done it. And yet, after all that, after and still achieving more and whatever, I am here with honor speaking publicly to everyone in the world. Can any one general in China do that? I've given you a list of about 60 chaps who've been sacked. There must be some reason. Is it their system? Is it Xi Jinping? Is it the generals? Is it the corruption there so much? Or is it incompetency? It appears that every guy who becomes a general is being sacked in the PLA. So there must be a status where no one wants to become a general. Look at it this way. If I become a general tomorrow and take over command of a theater, I'll be sacked and put in jail. So what's the motivation level? Look at the larger implications. So I think there is a major problem. We'll see this being played out, but whichever way the dice goes, it's good time India. Your views and we can take it forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Are there more slides to go through, or we are going to stop?
No,
here?
we're done.
Okay. Let's take some questions because we have a fair number of questions.
No, we'll take. There's no hurry.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhaskar Bandit, for your super sticker. Charan Sparsh, you said RU did not show support during Op Sindhu, Russia. Other than diplomatic messaging plus condemning Pahalgan, what should we have expected? In order to survive, is there a possibility where... Sir, go ahead, sir. This is a different question.
This is a different question. Look, we needed diplomatic support. Please. Rick, when Russia went to war with Ukraine, our Prime Minister went and met Mr. Putin and told him, look, this is not the time for war, finish it off. Okay, we understand your predicament. When the whole world was not with Russia, we stood by Russia and bought that oil. Even today, we are buying at our cost. There's a political cost we have paid. And we have been paying it for the past 1 year with Mr. Trump. We stood by Russia. Russia could have just said one word. That's why I keep saying the silence of our friends hurt more than the noise of our enemies. Yeah.
Bhaskar again, in order to survive, is there possibility where Emperor Xi invades Taiwan, then fails, then invades Bharat in order to save face, then fails again, and then that's what leads to collapse of current China?
Yeah, Bhaskar, you don't need to fail twice to. He's already failed. He's got no generals. How will he go to Taiwan? He can't go to his toilet before, without worrying whether some other general will be there to pick him up or take off. There's the issue of survival today. Forget about going to Taiwan, Faiwan, and all that. I don't think he'll go anywhere near Taiwan. I don't think he'll come anywhere near Bharat. भारत का तो सवाल ही नहीं है. ये तो golden period है इंडिया का. This is a golden period. Unless he's come completely irrational and more incidents happen at this point of time. Overall, what is the situation? Xi might be under threat, but he's in control. And will that change? No. His control won't change, the threat won't change. That's the thing. The control won't change, the threat also won't change. He'll be constantly under threat because he doesn't trust the PLA. If the PLA he doesn't trust, and anyone whom he appoints will be incompetent, he'll sack him. He'll be forced to sack him. Incompetence, no, a junior guy coming up. So there is no worry for me. All these are, just don't think of all these things. Yep.
Spotter by OSI wants to know who will be after Xi? Will it be in our benefits? Will border get salient? Or will it be severe competition to India?
Yeah. Who will be after Xi? I don't know. No one knows. No one wants to be after Xi. This is, very funny. This is a communist system you have to understand. In the communist system, the moment there's a designated successor, he starts gaining power. The moment he starts gaining power, he poses a threat to the boss. So the moment the threat is posed to the boss kills the successor. This is the communist system. Okay? So I don't think who's after Xi, we don't know. Will it be to our benefit? Unless that guy comes up, we don't know. The rest of the questions will fall out of who is there. And even if that guy comes up, someone will come up after Xi. Will he survive? You have to, I told you, and I mean, this is again from fact, the power transition in China between any two regimes till Deng Xiaoping has been 5 years. The power transition in China after Deng Xiaoping, right, has been through chairmanship of CMC. That's also been 2 to 3 years. यहाँ तो सब कुछ लुढ़क जाएगा, and Zito has become president for life. Either he has to die or be forcibly pushed off. If he's forcibly pushed off, he has no control. So who will control the CMC? Because all these generals have been sacked. A new general who comes up, he will take control. China is standing on the edge of a precipice. I don't know which way it will fall, how it will happen, I don't know. But I'm very sure that you will see a struggle, but you will not hear it. You will not see eruptions. That's not the Chinese method. But an intense struggle is going on today in China. Yeah.
Jay Pratik wants to know, sir, we know China for being an opaque society. So what can be the reason behind publicizing these sacking of military officers and CCP members? I mean, these things show China in very poor light.
Look, that's not the way China looks at it. He is being made public to show that he is control. Okay? He is getting popularity with the public. And the public he is trying to show popularity is this domestic audience. That I am clear, I am clean, I am getting rid of corruption. I am getting rid of incompetence. Please understand their psyche here. Don't judge China by your yardstick. I keep saying this. You should judge China by their yardsticks, their internal politics. Okay? Okay.
Shubham Singh wants to know, what would be better outcome for India? Xi coming on top or Zhang Yuzhia?
I've answered this question, isn't it? It doesn't matter who. Both are good. Yeah.
Milvan wants to know, so was it the Wuhan lab scientists that were the ones that were sacked?
No, no. Wuhan lab scientists और इसका कोई संबंध ही नहीं है. They're different story altogether. Those chaps that we don't even know. I've not seen their stories. Yeah.
Kat wants to know, is that true? Trump granddaughter is very good at Mandarin language. If they hate China, why is it that why is that? Or they just hate Xi Jinping? Why? They just want some other USA lover president to come. So she remove unloyal general. I don't know what you're asking, Kat.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no clue about it.
Next one, please. Thank you, Moni School. Any option to apply for these vacant posts in PLA? I have good experience in firing rockets in Diwali and some experience in flying kites.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Vishal Singh wants to know: is it that they have too many leaders that they can keep disposing?
I don't know. Look, this is a feature of every communist regime. Okay, this has happened in Russia, USSR. The way Stalin carried out purges, and for that matter, later on also, the best of their guys were finished off. Tukhachevsky, who was their best military general, Stalin just got him shot dead. Shot dead. Abhi to it is disappearance and yet type. You just put him against the wall and shot him one fine day. It was so thing. Look at Cuba. We forget. You think Fidel Castro survived with love and affection all around him, and he didn't carry out purges? The kind of internal violence which existed in Cuba must read to understand. Okay, look at Maduro. वो भी तो communist है. How he took over Venezuela. You have to understand this communist psyche. Look at Cambodia. Who was that guy?
Pol Pot.
Go to Cambodia and see what he did. To his own people. Khmer Rouge. He did to his own people. Okay. So their thinking is different. They don't think like you and I are thinking. Chaliye.
Sir, they wiped out the entire intelligentsia of Cambodia. Oh my God, horrible. Dinesh Kumar wants to know, my good General Sarji, whether China is moving away from communism, and what is two, and then again two, whether the second level leadership is capable of pulling out a coup leading to change of political system.
Look, China is not moving away from communism at this point of time. The communists are fully in command. They don't intend giving up their thing to anyone else. Please understand that. They're not going to do that. Because if that happens, China will go into chaos. China will go into chaos. Okay. The second level leadership is not there. That's the problem with China. Who's the second level leadership? All those guys whom I showed, those 7 chaps in the Politburo Standing Committee, वो तो सब पिस्सू हैं Xi Jinping के. They don't have any standing of their own. And Xi Jinping has not allowed anyone with standing to come up. There's one guy, Hu Jintao, but he was Hu Jintao's protege. That guy, in the last party congress, he was thrown out. He was in the Politburo before that. Okay, and it was expected that he'll become the prime minister. And he was, because he was his name was not there in the list, and that is what Hu Jintao was saying. Why is his name not there? Okay, and Xi Jinping quietly got him marched out. Hu Chunhua, that guy is back in action somewhere. Whether he'll come up, whether he's got the capability to fight on his own, we don't know. That's why I said we don't know. It's not a, contrary to what people think, China is not a black box that we don't know what's happening. A lot of things which happen behind China are opaque, but you can predict generally which way they are going. Yep.
Recently one hero died. A couple of years ago, a heroine died. All sorts of things happening. Sushil wants to know, if she is able to sack in large numbers, how come you're claiming that He is becoming weaker? CN media is controlled by CCP, strongly headed by Xi. Then why are you giving reference of Chinese media? If Chinese media says it, what is there to doubt it?
Why we are Chinese media telling me
Sushil,
everything? Please understand. If you have lost your entire military, are you stronger or weaker? That's what I keep count. Look, you Sushil, अब देखिए दोबारा हिंदी में बात करता हूँ ताकि आपके समझ में आए.
यार मैंड्रिन में बात कीजिए सर, ये हिंदी वाला नहीं है.
नहीं कोई नहीं. दूसरा लैंग्वेज में आप देखिए, हमारे पार्लियामेंट में 4 दिन पहले कितना घमासान वाद विवाद हुआ था. किसके बारे में? एक किताब के बारे में. एक किताब का एक पन्ने में 4 जो लाइन लिखे हुए थे, जो भी पता नहीं, हमें ये नहीं पता कि क्या लिखे हुए थे, उसके बारे में पूरा वाद विवाद हो गया. 2 दिन ये यहाँ सारे यूट्यूब चैनल पे ये बात फैल गई, सारे सोशल मीडिया में हो गई, सारे मेन स्ट्रीम में हो गया, प्रिंट मीडिया में हो गया, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया में हो गया, इंटरनेशनल मीडिया में हो गया. इतनी छोटी सी बात है और यहाँ देखिए कितने लोग सैक हो गए और आप फिर बोल रहे हो कि भाई ही इज नॉट वीकर. पीएलए तो खत्म है यार. देखिए मैं आपको बताता हूं, अगर मैं कल के दिन आके कुछ इफ आई मैन्युफैक्चर अ केस and tell I put my fingers against the army leadership, this nation will shake. That's the nature of democracy, which is good. In fact, that's the strength of the democracy. Either they'll prove me to be an idiot or they'll prove where I pointed my finger to be an idiot. But they don't have such safeguards. That is the problem with them. Yep.
The PLA is getting young blood. We should be also cautious about their plans and mind. What is your view, my dear General Sir? Only one general saw action, real action. Sir, one thing. Just only one general saw real action in a war, and that guy is also sacked now. Zhang Yuzhia.
Bas.
Sir.
Yeah, I agree with you. Blood ka hai yaar. Kaun to they're bloodletting. When they come up, I mean, can you imagine? All your theater commands are vacant. Your Central Military Commission is vacant. All your main departments are vacant. What are you talking? This struggle is going to go on for the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
Maqbool wants to know, sir, if US and China are unstable, then will they become a threat to a rising India altogether?
Yes, definitely. They don't have doubts about it at all. What's happening in Bangladesh? What's happening in Pakistan? What's been happening in China? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ritvik Patra. If China fails, then who will be the next villain?
I don't know. China won't fall so easily.
Pakistan is always there. Saurabh wants to know, good evening, sir. Great session today. In your learned opinion, can any organization, civil or military, recover completely from such a purge as the PLA is going through? How long will it take? Thanks.
3 to 4 years. They'll recover because it's in their nature to recover. The system will ensure recovery. But it's not going to be easy. This purge is not going to, this is not the last time we've heard of it. We'll see things happening. See, one thing I've learned about after reading China is, it's not Chat Mangni Patbya. It is, slow. Everything is slow. It's on a slow burner. Okay? It's on a slow burner. So you have to be patient for outcomes in China. We'll see. Don't worry.
Next one, please. Barishwala wants to know, sir, will the army capture all the previous metals of China? Communism at its best. Currently, many jewelry stores are empty in Beijing.
Yeah, maybe. I agree with you.
Next one, please. Thank you, Kewar. You have granted Ganashot 5 Ganashot memberships. And with that comes to close today's program. General Shankar, if you have any last minute conclusion, then we can
thank
wrap
you.
up.
Yeah, you're gonna wait, and please, all of you, you're watching China, don't expect instant results. I will have, it took me, yesterday only I was speaking to Shreya ji. It's going to take me time to make such presentations. I had to go back and open up all my presentations on China, which I had done for the past 3 years, and saw and picked slides. And I made a story today. There are many things which I didn't put because I thought today, General Dushyant and General Narayanan will be there. They pulled out, that's a different story. They had their thing. So I kept, there's more. I mean, if I had time, I would have spent another hour giving you the more to this whole story. वो है ना वो the end नहीं है इसमें चाइना में. There's more to go ahead.
Continued.
To be continued. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Viewers, if you really like to understand a microcosm of how the Chinese society works, watch The Warrior in Netflix. It's a little gory. 1878 to 1879, or I think up to 1881 it goes. San Francisco, Chinatown. And it's basically a microcosm of how things are in China. Very compelling viewing. Thank you once again, sir. We will see you very soon. I don't know if we are going to have tomorrow. We are not going to have the morning show, right?
Not tomorrow, not day after, Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. Thank you so much, sir.